right. So we went through some heavy hitter questions, and now we're at the question where we're going to put Eamon B on the spot. I'm excited for this one. Woo! I'm excited.
This is where it matters.
But I'm playing it up, man. It's some good questions. We can all, interject as well if we have anything to say about these as well. But as I want to say, Eamon does not know what I'm going to ask him at all. He does not know. So let's go to the first question.
Let's get
Brother Eamon, if you won $1 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
I'll probably start a business.
Start a business.
Really?
100%.
Flat out?
100%.
What would that business be? That's my another question.
Do I want?
We can hold it off and talk offline if you don't want to mention it out in the public.
I mean, there's already, I already have a few businesses that I, inshallah, one day want to start, but right now I don't necessarily have the capital for, so that would be the capital for it.
Inshallah.
How many banks do you have to rob to get capital for you?
Yeah, right?
Not that many.
Huh?
Not that many.
One's enough.
Flipper over here, bro.
Listen, he's gonna get 1 million. If he gets 1 million, I think that's enough.
It's more than
to start something. Yeah, inshallah.
1 million. He got 2 businesses. He's good, man.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Make it 3. Get a little tea time business. You know what I'm saying?
Tea time, bro. 2 times, bro.
Yeah. Actually,
this next question,
just
go ahead.
for the people, and since I'm
yes
today, one of the businesses which I'm very passionate about, and I would probably use it to start is a production company to start creating podcasts and obviously kind of formalize the Journey Home podcast right now, but then also use it to start
share it.
Become like a production house for a lot of other content creators.
Yes. AB, you're gonna say something, man. Don't hold your tongue now. He's gonna say something. I saw you.
He's gonna give Bear Men some studio time,
Yeah. Everybody gonna be in there like, yeah, man, I need to put down 16 bars, you know what I'm saying? So where's the studio at? Yeah, I got a hot track, hot fire.
I got a hot 16 to let out right now.
Let's do it, man.
You're gonna be spitting for Jay-Z, like people gonna have that gusto, But no, that sounds cool, man. I could actually see you really doing that. You're doing it now, but I know if you had the capital, I could easily see it. Inshallah, brother. Inshallah. This next question, I actually want all of us to kind of answer, but Eamon's always going to be first as our guest. Name the most impactful movie you have ever watched and why. Sheesh. Impactful. This had you thinking. Had you doing.
You guys can go ahead first if you have one on top of your head. I'm trying to think.
I have one.
My first instinct is Coach Carter for some reason.
Oh yeah, talk about that. It's a great movie, man.
Richmond.
Yeah.
Richmond. I don't know. When I first watched that movie, I was in my basketball bag, if you want to call it that, and I was in my high school basketball career, and I was captain of the team and this and that and all of that, and so it was very I don't know, it was impactful, bro. I don't know.
Yeah.
A little about we play in basket. little battle out here. Those out here getting the corner and stuff.
Yeah.
I wish, man. I wish.
Nah, that's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
Movie for me. It's a little lighthearted one.
Yeah. AB, what's your movie? Thought about one.
Impactful movie where man, there's so many, man. There's bro, you know what's funny? So the other day I was talking to my siblings, right? And then this is back in the VHS days. So the VHS videotapes that shows you how old we are. And when families had VCRs, remember that stuff? Before this is before DVDs. So just
straight up over you can tape over what you had on a VCR tape. You know what I mean? Bro, tape that thing or dub it over, right?
If you really deep it, this is we had Netflix, and then we had Blu-ray, and then we had DVDs, and then VCRs or whatever. Anyways, so the first movie, one of the first movies we got as a family movie was you're gonna laugh at me, but Bug's Life. You ever watch the movie Bug's Life?
Oh yeah. That's classic, man.
This is back then when movies had like a storyline and morals and Bug's Life. There's so many, and because this movie was written by DreamWorks, so it wasn't by Disney. It was by DreamWorks. So DreamWorks has a Pixar, yeah. But so Pixar, you're right. Pixar before they got bought out by Disney. You're right.
Pixar.
Anyways, so Pixar, bro, there's so many hidden lessons in that movie, right? And things like, for example, like teamwork and like how the grasshoppers were ruling this like 1,000 ants. Like there was maybe like 50 grasshoppers, but because they were bigger, the ants were scared. And then they were showing that we have power in numbers. And then like I remember what's called. There was like one scene. It's funny because like it applies now in my adult life where in the like close to the opening scene where the grasshoppers come and they're getting their what do you call it, their harvest, their first harvest of the year. So the ants harvest food and the grasshoppers take the food, right? And for some reason there's a big accident that happened. The main character breaks the rocks, like he hits the rocks, and all the food falls into the water. So all of the food that they've been gathering on the island goes into the water. So when the grasshoppers come, like, yo, where the hell is the food? Fast forward a little bit, the leader of the grasshopper goes to the princess or the queen, because the queen's getting old. So the princess now is taking over the management. And then he says this one iconic line. And then he goes, "Who did this?" And then she goes like, "It was like." She's like, it wasn't us. There's a mistake. Blah blah. She's making excuses because she's a young princess. And then he goes, "Rule number one of management: everything is your fault." You know, that was the line. And like my siblings and I'm like, bro, do you remember all the crazy lines? Like it's weird because I'm having flashbacks of Bug's Life in my adult life right now. It's weird.
It is wild.
We're just like,
that's real.
It's wild, bro. There's so many lines, and I think it was like way ahead of its time. Like it's the jokes, the adult jokes, the moral. There's so many lessons from that movie. So I think it's one of my most impressionable.
Wow, I'm afraid to give my answer because my movie is much more serious than both of your movies. Well, Coach Carter has some serious moments. Let's be real. It has some serious moments. Yeah, for sure.
Being like a student athlete and like trying to make sure you do well in school, but also do well.
And then I'm saying A Bug's Life.
But this is nice diversity, right? This is the title of our 4th episode, diversity. So this is nice. Mine's is a little bit more jarring. It's not easy for the eyes or the ears. And it's on our thumbnail, American History X.
Ooh, good ass movie.
That movie changed my life or reiterated some things that I went through in some ways. Just a short synopsis because we're short on time. We got a couple more questions to go through. But it was about a skinhead who was in jail, but he had lived the previous life as a leader of this group. And the way that he got into jail was the most iconic moment that everyone knows about. I'm not going to describe it on here for YouTube purposes, but it was very gruesome what happened in terms of the racist act that he did. But as he was growing up, and you could see that it started at the dinner table. It started at his family, things that he was going through and what was in his mind. When he got out, he still had a brother who was in the gang or a group, whatever you want to call it. And because of the lifestyle that he led, he was trying to now turn people against that. But as you see throughout the movie, it's too late. Mm-hmm. And then there was an iconic scene at the end about what happened. But when I grew up, a lot of my identity before I became Muslim was being a black man. And being in America, hearing stories, things happening to myself, things happening to friends, older people in my, community, grandfathers, grandmothers telling you things, great-grandfather, all these things, right? So that was my identity. And I really stuck to that, and I really perceived everything through a black and white identity. And that movie kind of scared me because there's people out there who really want to do you just for the color of your skin. And I don't want to say it's a YouTube term, but they want to take your life. And that scared me, and it makes you think about the rawness of the world. And my mother, my stepfather, put that in my mind a lot. Like, son, we love you, but outside this house, we don't know who's gonna love you. You don't know what's going to be your day when you have to deal with this, and we got to come home. We got to cry and figure it out things because you brought something to our table, and we just want to make you sure you come home every day. That was their fear. That just want my son to come home, want all my kids to come home. So the moral of what I'm trying to say is that in this movie, it showed me that what you did in the past, you can't escape. That's still going to come, and roost its ugly head sometimes. You have to deal with it, negative or positive, right? And then also that is a redemption story. People can change. The people that you think wouldn't change, they're the ones on the road to redemption. They're on the road to accountability. They're on the road to transform themselves and others. So I think that's pretty interesting. And those are the two kind of lessons that I got from that movie. So now we have 3 other questions here as well. We're going to go through quickly, guys. 1 minute tops with the answers. Eamon, 3rd question. What do people misunderstand about you the most? And why?
Ooh, that's kind of deep.
That is a deep one, man. I think no. I'm a very like quiet, reserved person in general, but I'm more of an observer than like an active. Like when I sit in a group, I could like be driving conversation, but I could also have my days where I'm just an observer, a listener, stuff like that. So I think people don't never know which side to put me on or like where to place me. But I always use that to my advantage. So it's I think it's something that people misunderstand about me, but it's also something I'm very comfortable with. It's not an insecurity in any way.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you ever felt that limited you in any way?
No, I mean, look, I think confidence and insecurities are huge parts of everyone's life, but I usually try to stay away from letting the insecurities get to, like, I always try to stay even kill. You know what I mean? With confidence and insecurity. Like too confident is also can be arrogant, but then if you let insecurities get to you, it like compromises your potential. So I always try to stay even kill with those two things. And it can
That's good,
sometimes
man.
be misunderstood, but you just try to always play that balancing act.
Yeah. All right, we'll go number 4. What is your fondest childhood memory?
Fondest childhood. I always ask the same question at the beginning of my podcast, which is, what is your earliest memory? And my earliest memory is running home from swimming or like the clubhouse at the compound we used to live in to catch Power Rangers.
Right.
Like yeah, I would literally run home, wouldn't even turn on a light. I'll just go into the
Wow.
bedroom, turn on the TV, and watch Power Rangers. And
Wow.
that's watching Power Rangers and just like those childhood moments where you're just like so carefree and you're just watching your favorite show, chilling, whatever. No stress about waking up the next morning or going after this and doing that.
Right.
But yeah, I think those would be like all the times I was watching Disney Channel, and all the times I was watching
Yeah.
Power Rangers. Basketball, obviously playing basketball was a big part of my childhood. Yeah, those I think within those kind of moments of playing
Yeah.
basketball and watching TV and just being very carefree, those are my fondest
That's
memories.
cool. That's cool. And this last question, we're gonna end up the show on. I want all of us to answer. If you can go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? So we're gonna start with you, Eamon.
I would say don't think you always have time. Like don't always be like, oh, it's okay, I can get to this, I can get to that, I can get to this. Like get it done. When you can get it, when you have an opportunity to get it done, get it done. And I'll tell you why I say that is because was always ahead of, like, I was always the youngest in my classes. I was always the youngest in university. I was always early when it came to a lot of things. And I didn't necessarily use that as an opportunity to exploit that opportunity. I didn't exploit that opportunity to get more done early. I was like, it's all right. I can spend, like, I can go to London at the age, I graduated university with a bachelor's degree at the age of 19. Like, I was 19 turning 20 and I was
Phenomenal.
done with university. So I went to London, and instead of exactly knowing, like, or focusing on one thing and being like, all right, I'm just going to do this and get it done, I was like, you know what? Let me try this. I'm going to try this for now. If it works out, I'll keep going. If it doesn't, I still have time. I can change to something else. But I needed, like, I ended up living in London for like 5.5 years. And out of the 5.5 years, I ended up with, quote unquote, wasting, but like there were 3 years which weren't as productive as they could have been. And then I ended up deciding, okay, I'm going to do an MBA, did an MBA, finished it in 2 years, and that was it. But if my planning was a bit more astute, or a bit more like focused, I may have gained a couple of years. But at the same time, all of these things happen for a reason. You know what I mean? And so, as much as I say, don't ever think you have time, it's always trust that everything is happening at the right time.
Real. That's real.
That's good. That's really good,
Yeah.
actually.
AB, what you got?
You know, it's funny. This question it always makes me laugh, because if I was to go back to my 18 self and give advice to my 18 self, this version of me wouldn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Because if the advice I would give would have a newer version, for better or for worse, whatever that version is. And the advice that I'm giving is based on the knowledge that I have now. You feel me? So I always laugh at this question, because when you really deep it, it's like you're erasing what you are now to potentially get something better that you have no idea, and you're forgetting the whole journey behind you of how you got to where you are now. You know, but I would even, like, for me, I would say, like, I would keep it simple. I would say focus on whatever you can control. Okay, any variable that's in your power, focus on that, whatever. And if you really deep it, there isn't that many things that I can focus on, or there isn't that many things that I can control. Okay, everything else is an unknown variable, and when it comes, it comes, and if it doesn't come, then tomorrow's a new day. Even though tomorrow I'm not promised, but tomorrow's a new day, and then I'll deal with it when I deal with it. You know, so we're in this, rather than and this goes back to what Eamon said. Rather than looking at life as a sprint, it's more so a marathon. You know, so some people are running a 2K marathon. Some people are running a 10K marathon. Some people are running, bro, a 100K marathon. You know, so we need to. We're in for a long time. Okay, whatever a long time is, we're in for that. And when you have this, and obviously, when you see a marathon runners, when they run, there's checkpoints. You know, so now that I've completed, if I'm running a 10K race or whatever, a 15K race, I have checkpoints of each amount of kilometers or 2 kilometers that I've run, and that's how life should be viewed. Okay, so those checkpoints are your goals, whatever your goals are, whatever success you want to do in your life. That's it. So now and when you hit each checkpoint, that is a moment of success that you feel upon yourself. And there's going to be variables that come along the path. Okay, and those variables, whatever variables I can control, whatever unknowns I have power, then those things I worry about, and I could do my best to either solve it, or find someone that could solve it, or whatever it is. And then whatever I can't control is out of my power, so it is what it is. That's it. That's what I would say.
Right. You make a good point, yeah, because sometimes it's like, well, if I gave myself that advice, I wouldn't be this version of the person who I am. So it makes sense. I'm gonna close it out real quick. I just feel like at 18, I would have told myself more about learning the financial system, how it really works. Being an American, I'm born into debt. You're born into the debt culture. You're born into the interest culture. You feel like this is normal. You feel like that if there's no one there to stop you from doing this, you'll just borrow this, pay it back later, make 4 installments to pay it off. I mean, all these things. And obviously, I wasn't Muslim at that time, so I wasn't locked into how problematic debt can be. I could pay off school, nowhere, take another loan out, blah, blah, blah. And I just, I would tell my 18-year-old self, hey, man, make more money, spend less money, and do everything with cash, right? Credit scores don't matter if you're not using credit. Doesn't matter, right? Your score doesn't work. It doesn't matter. But if I pull my money in, I make some money, I'm preparing myself because, as men, we have to make something of ourselves in society. If we don't, we're a bum, we're scrubs, no one's there to help us. And so therefore, how you get your money right sometimes increases your swag. Like, I feel confident. Yeah, my money's good. Nice money in the bank, things like that. Doesn't say they shouldn't have fun, right? There's a season for those things as well. But in America, man, I wish somebody would have taught me, okay, this would be how much interest it would be if you pay this loan back over 20 years and what 20 years really means in interest versus principal and interest payments and capitalization and, amortization. Man, listen, I've just been paying in cash, stacking, doing whatever. And so, but, I had a fun time. We're good, alhamdulillah. But that's something that I would have thought about a little bit differently when I was 18, at that time.
You sure, bro? You wouldn't go back and put $100 in Google, $100 in Apple, $100 in YouTube, Let it ride out?
Could be discussed. You know what I mean? So, but it's something that, different.